Shabbat Shalom, everybody. How the heck are you guys doing out there? I was just reading a little bit here in Peter, and I ran into this verse, and I want to share it with you guys because it does apply to us today, very much today. And I'm going to read it out of the NIV, as it's easy to read, and hopefully it's easy to understand. And before we go into this, there is no other letters, there's no other text, there's no other anything that actually refers to an apostle or a disciple or a prophet or somebody by name and gives us a very strict warning. Now, it gives us a very strict warning because people, the Christian church, have taken the letters of Paul and they have made themselves a lawless people. They have taken Paul and made him their God. Because they say, well, Paul says you don't have to do this, you don't have to keep this, don't let any man judge you in this, don't let this you... And all they know is 2 or 3 verses, but they don't read everything in context. And so, because they're spoon-fed and they're so lazy, and they do not seek their Creator, their eternity most likely is in hell. And so, Brother Paul, Shaul, probably didn't mean to send a tremendous amount of people to hell. But what does Peter say about this? Well, let's look at it right here. 2 Peter 3:15. Bear in mind that our Lord's patience means salvation, just as our dear brother Paul also wrote you with the wisdom that God gave him. Okay, so right there it says Paul has wisdom, which is very much true because you have to understand what Paul is saying. You see, Paul was a Pharisee. Paul was raised in Judaism. Paul was a Christian killer. He was a killer of those who went to the Messiah until he was converted, right? Verse 16, this is what Peter says. He writes the same way in all his letters, speaking in them of these matters. His letters contain some things that are hard to understand, which ignorant and unstable people distort, as they do the other scriptures to their own destruction. So, I hate to say this, but unfortunately, Christians, Peter just calls you guys ignorant and unstable, right? If you are taking the letters of Paul, Shaul, and you're freeing yourself from the laws, statutes, and commands, you are ignorant and you're unstable. That's what he says. I didn't say this. So, he says that that's what they do to other scriptures as well. Verse 17. Therefore, dear friends, since you have been forewarned, be on your guard, so that you may not be carried away by the error of the lawless and fall from your secure position. Wow. Okay, and it says that in all these versions. It says the exact same thing. It says, listen, if you believe that Paul has set you free from the laws of God, Peter says you're ignorant and unstable. If you want to live as an ignorant and unstable person, I guess you're on the right track. Because Paul's letters never, ever say the laws of God are gone. You can take 3 or 4 words in a sentence and you have no idea what he's talking about. But Paul kept the Sabbaths. He kept the Shabbats. Sabbath, Shabbat, same thing. He kept the Sabbaths. He kept the feasts. He kept the holy days. He kept all of this. You can see when he's going from ship to ship and he's rushing to a Passover. He's rushing to a feast somewhere, right? So Peter tells us, don't be ignorant and don't be unstable. All we have is the writings right here. This is what we have. And they take Paul's letters. They take them as their new gospel. And they are, unfortunately, ignorant and unstable. Don't be ignorant and unstable, guys. There's a better path. There's a better life. The people that say the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator are bondage have never read the laws, statutes, and commands. They honestly don't know what bondage is. In fact, they're taking that bondage out of context again. Because it says, my laws are not hard, my yoke is not too hard to bear. But you know what? We have billions of people that are lawless people. And the Bible is very, very clear. Peter's very clear. There's not many people that make it. Most people don't make it. In fact, yesterday's lesson that we did, it said even the righteous have a hard time making it. If the righteous have a hard time making it, what hope do we have? Well, if we're living lawless, there is zero hope. If we're living to where we must call on a Messiah at the end times, go, Messiah, Messiah, did we not cast out demons in your name? Did we not do this great stuff in your name? Did we not do all this stuff? What do we hear? Depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Wait a second. It's once saved, isn't always saved? Well, if you've heard depart from me, ye who work lawlessness, that just blew that right out of the water. There's no such thing, right? You just got told to kick rocks. You're not making it to the kingdom. You're not making it to the Shemaim. You're not making it anywhere. Why? Because you didn't keep the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. So Peter warns you right here. And if you don't take this, if you take this and you disregard it, I guess you are ignorant and unstable. Much love, folks. I'm out.